Perkembangan seni Sarawak, sama ada tradisional maupun contemporary, telah menyaksikan kemunculan pelbagai genre dan jenis karya yang sememangnya menjadi warisan budaya. Bukan itu saja, bahkan kemunculan bakat-bakat muda yang gagah berdiri di depan dan giat memperjuangkan seni dan budaya kita juga semakin hari semakin ramai. Ini jelas menunjukkan potensi yang dibawa oleh budaya Sarawak tidak terhad kepada rakyat kita sahaja, malahan mendapat tempat dan permintaan di luar. Namun, adakah tahap apresiasi ini cukup untuk memastikan kelangsungan budaya Sarawak? Salam sejahtera. Saya Tony Yusof, pengacara anda dalam Dunia Insan Kreatif, sebuah rancangan temu bual mingguan mengenai industri kreatif yang disiarkan secara eksklusif hanya di TVS. Minggu ini kita berpeluang bertemu ramah dengan seorang anak jati Sarawak yang giat memperjuangkan seni dan budaya kita melalui pelbagai aktiviti dan inisiatif di Kuching. Jangan ke mana-mana, teruskan bersama kami dalam Dunia Insan Kreatif. Kali ini kita akan bertemu dengan seorang pejuang seni dan budaya yang menganjurkan festival What About Kuching. Acara What About Kuching ini biasanya diadakan setiap bulan Oktober selama sebulan dan merangkumi pelbagai aktiviti seni, budaya dan gaya hidup melalui kacamata orang-orang Sarawak. Sejak pelancarannya pada 2017, What About Kuching ini menjadi tumpuan utama bukan saja masyarakat setempat, malahan pelancong asing juga. Dan bersama saya hari ini adalah pengasasnya, Encik Donald Tan, dan beliau akan berkongsi dengan kita mengenai apresiasi seni dan budaya orang-orang Sarawak. Dan disebabkan beliau sedang berada di Kuching ketika ini, ada kekangan geografi sikit sebab saya berada di Kuala Lumpur. Sesi ini dilakukan secara online. Yeah? How are you, Donald?
Good afternoon, Tony.
Good afternoon.
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you so much
How are
for...
you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's nice of you to actually include us so that we can share a little bit about, what we do and how we've been keeping.
Oh, thank you.
Through these times.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for us. Trust me, it is.
Yeah. Likewise.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit more about yourself personally, and then also how you started this? What About Kuching?
Okay. Anyway, today I must also let everyone know that What About Kuching actually is a team effort between myself and my wife Marina.
Okay.
Who's not able to be with us this afternoon. But she sends her regards to everyone. But both of us have been avid lovers of the arts, whether it's visual or performing arts, for a long time. We enjoy traveling as well and seeing different cultures. And, all this while we have wanted and had this vision that, we are so rich in Sarawak and in Kuching. In Sarawak, actually, throughout Sarawak, with all our multi-ethnicity, multicultural, groups and talented artisans and artists, that we should try to showcase all these talents. And what better way if we can actually bring all the community together to try to do something collectively. So in 2017, or rather earlier than that, 2016, about a year before, we thought, okay, let's just put out feelers and see if there's any takers on this sort of concept, this broad festival concept, and that's what we did. We tried to invite all the people who are doing anything creative, dance, music, visual arts, painting, sculptures, even crafts, to come together and sit down. On the same table and discuss whether or not this is a possibility. We thought, okay, there might be a handful, the people that we know. But, lo and behold, when the day came for the little casual meeting, our office was completely full. We had 20, 30 people who were actually leading their own different groups.
Right.
So everybody got very excited. Suddenly there was this possibility that we could actually, as a collective group, come together and have a platform for everybody to showcase their talents. So that was a very exciting time.
That just goes to show how many people were hungry for these, something like this.
everybody was doing things in their own group, in silos, because they did not have a common platform to come together, and dancers meeting musicians meeting, stage managers or actors meeting musicians and so forth. So this was the first step, I guess.
It was never a unified sort of like direction, right?
None. Everyone was doing their own thing. I mean, the musicians were actually dealing with musicians in their own specific group, and the dancers were doing likewise. There might be a little bit of crossover, but not a lot.
And of course, in the individual capacity, it's never going to be enough, right? I mean,
correct.
You lose out in terms of intensity when it's like a whole big gang coming together. That makes a lot more difference, right?
Absolutely, and even the genre. Like if you are into music, maybe you're into traditional music. You don't know that there is a heavy metal group or a niche market in Kuching, or there's a rock group or there's a pop or acoustic. A different genre. They don't really cross over much. So when we actually started this movement, everybody got very excited. And they came and suddenly, there was a lot of side discussions, we should get together, we should try to explore this, we should try to collaborate and do things together, and that energized Marina and I a lot. And then from there, we formed a core group of people who were, we call it the founding members, I guess. On the first year, 2017, when we started the festival, we had very little support from our now main sponsor, which is the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Sarawak.
Fantastic.
In 2017, they didn't know what we were actually shooting for. Actually, they thought that we were very ambitious.
Right.
But they gave a little bit of support, nowhere near what we needed. But the rest all pulled together and found their own support.
Right.
And we got the show off the ground.
Amazing.
And that was such a big buzz. Everybody was so happy, and everybody felt that they own What About Kuching, which is fantastic, and they do. And from then onwards, we were very lucky also that we had the incoming minister, Dato' Karim, who was there, and he was willing to actually come over and see what we were trying to do.
Wow.
And he came to a few events, and he felt that the concept was good. And this was like the community activating itself, rather than being, again, spoon-fed.
Yes.
Activating itself and trying to make it happen.
Kita kembali selepas ini. What makes What About Kuching different from all the other arts and cultural related events throughout Sarawak?
I think the freedom to be able to express their creativity for the communities, the artistic communities, as well as the fact that it is actually driven and run by the communities.
Right.
It is not like government centric in the sense that government curates everything. No, this is kind of like the community coming together and says, "Hey, I'm a dancer, and I want to stage my genre or my performance at What About Kuching." We will say, "Yes, you're welcome. Show us what your script is or what your angle is, and then we will try to see if we can enhance it, and we can try to find you a venue, and we can actually help you with a little bit of the staging, and we will help you promote it." If you are actually charging for tickets, then the ticket sales and all that will be yours. We don't take anything.
Oh, wow.
So that is an avenue for us to try to enliven the entire artistic community.
So it's directly by the practitioners for the people.
Exactly.
Like you cut away the middleman sort of thing, right?
Exactly. So there's no. I mean, although we are festival directors, we don't necessarily curate it very, very heavily. We don't actually, in fact, at all. Right.
Okay, what has been like key highlights of whatever you've organized so far for What About Kuching?
Key highlights. I think every single one of the events that have been staged have been highlights, but of particular interest is our music portal, obviously, because the music portal needed direct support from What About Kuching, because effectively musicians are already out there. They're actually um, dedicating time away from their professional careers. Sometimes they're singing in cafes, in lounge. They have gigs set up already. And when October comes, sometimes they forgo that. They says, okay, I want to perform at What About Kuching?
Wow.
And so in that, we said, okay, we cannot afford to pay you your professional fees, but we can afford to pay you a token. But this is for the community. So the other half of it, your sacrifice would be actually as part of the community doing something for the creative community. So they are very, very happy to do that. So effectively, the music portal is one. Obviously, our reach went quite far in 2019. That even acts from West Malaysia and even Singapore started sending proposals to us to come to What About Kuching to perform. And we said, for as long as you come in, we can help you with certain things. And we would love for you to actually share your expertise and your experience by doing workshops for our local community so that our local community standards will rise as well.
Now that the pandemic has hit us, and it's definitely put a halt on so many things, and I'm sure you've had to shelve, a number of things like the rest of us, right? How do you go about it? What have you been busy with regards to What About Kuching during this pandemic?
Well, I mean, it happened at a very, very unfortunate time, really, because the thing is, in 2020, we were planning for the biggest WAK yet. I mean, there was a rebranding exercise. There was reimagining of the designs and the concept in which we were going to operate under. And when the pandemic hit, even the minister was still very, very much an optimist to want to see this carry on. And we actually kept saying that, maybe it will get better when it comes down to October. But it never did, unfortunately. So that had to be shelved. So instead of actually carrying on with it, we pressed our pause button and everything was shelved for 2020. And I dare say, I think for 2021, we will also be not doing too much this year. We've explored a lot of different avenues to try to actually create a festival online. That poses quite a lot of challenge because of the nature of how What About Kuching is. What About Kuching is about contact. It's about community. It's about the community coming together physically to celebrate everyone's creativity and everyone's talent.
Okay, so it's no surprise that the MCO has left many institutions temporarily put down their shutters, and the economic repercussions I can't imagine. Not looking well for us at the moment at all. What do you think of the efforts made by the powers that be thus far? I mean, in terms of like grants and venturing into online performances, these initiatives. What do you think of the whatever help that's come about?
I think the grants will never be enough because we are talking about livelihood, right? Month on month, and with creatives, in the first place, their livelihood, their choice of career, is already a very challenging one to begin with in terms of trying to eke out a decent living. So with this pandemic now, it's even put them in a worse off situation. I must say that the powers that be, the government and companies has done quite a lot to actually assist. But these are kind of like sort of like a little shot in the arm, really. I mean, I don't want to use the word vaccine for fear of confusing people, but this is a little sort of stopgap measures, one-off kind of thing. And much as they are treasured and they are required and they are necessary, I think more can be done. But again, how do we go about it is how collectively we have to come to terms with, because whether we pay people to actually perform and record them online and show it out, how do you monetize that? How do you make that a sustainable way? I mean, that is the challenge, really. I mean, I know of many musicians who are actually doing online performances, trying to get some donations from people. Yes, they get a few, a bit, but that's hardly enough for them to actually eke out a living just doing that.
In your opinion, is there anything else that can be done, perhaps?
I think so. I think there definitely are many other avenues to be explored. As I mentioned, I think there are ways where we could effectively try to bring still close collective creative groups together and figure out and help them try to see how they can actually monetize their talents. But I think these are things that probably the relevant ministries could assist.
Yeah.
I mean, do greater research and assist and open up this sort of different avenues where people can actually eke out a living.
Kita kembali selepas ini. You see, undoubtedly, right, Sarawak is one of the states with the largest number of races in Malaysia. Thus, it has the most diverse differences in views, culture, language and beliefs and so on. Now, in your opinion, what more can be done to maintain the understanding and harmony between the races in Sarawak?
I think do more events like WAK. I mean, if we could actually have more events and disperse not only in Kuching but statewide, where we encourage communities to come together and give them the avenue to run things themselves, as opposed to actually shoving it down their throats. Try to actually get them proactively engaged so that they are actually doing it.
Yeah,
and that makes a difference because that creates harmony, that creates sort of an understanding between all the various different races as to how they can work together, the dynamics of it.
My biggest takeaway from this notion of letting them have free creative reign is that you encourage the most honest of artistry, a very honest representation of their crafts, I think, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the thing is, when you tell someone to do something, they will do it maybe to about 50, 60, 70%, and they think that that's what he wants.
Yeah,
I will do it at that level. But you say, okay, now you do what you think you want to do, all right, what you've been doing, and you show us what you got. It's a different thing, Then they will do 200%.
It's a game changer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when we are able to bring them all together, now we're already talking about cross-genre, we're talking about cross-cultural fusion of music, of dance, of everything, into a contemporary sense even, to make it relevant to the young people. So they're already thinking in that fashion. So don't get us wrong. I mean, we feel that there is also a need for us to preserve our heritage, our culture, our old ways.
Of course.
We definitely need to preserve that.
Yeah.
But moving forward with the young people, we need also to explore where they're going. They need to explore
exactly
where they're going and form an identity of their own. If you're Iban, a lot of them are like from mixed Iban Bidayu or Iban Chinese or Bidayu Chinese or Malay Chinese, Malay Iban.
Who's gonna blaze those trails, right? But yourself. Yeah.
So effectively, they need to come up with a different identity or a unique identity that is their own. Because the thing is, as we progress along as a society, I'm 6th generation born in Sarawak.
Right.
My ancestors came from long time ago. So if you call me purely Chinese, I don't think of myself as purely Chinese, because I'm already 6th generation here. Yeah. I'm more a Sarawakian than a Chinaman,
Right, of course.
So that's I think you feel the same way too. Anak Sarawak.
Definitely. Yeah. That's the only unifying thing with us. Right?
Exactly.
Because,
so effectively with that, I think it's important for us to understand and with what about Kuching, we are so pleased that it has created a great appreciation across the board.
Right.
Of everyone's culture, of everyone's identity.
Right. Now, are there any other key concerns or issues that we need to look into immediately with regards to Sarawak's arts and culture and its preservation and its understanding?
We're very excited to be in Sarawak actually, because I think the powers that be, our minister, our ministry, even our chief minister understands the value of arts, culture, and lifestyle.
Yeah.
And
we're pretty lucky, right? In that sense.
Yeah,
in that respect.
I think with what is happening now with the new museum pending to be open, we have the Performing Arts Center that is in the pipeline.
Yeah.
We have Kuching being beautified by Old Kuching Smart Heritage. There's so much of all of these coming together in Kuching.
Now, speaking of pipeline of things in Kuching and Sarawak, what's in the pipeline for what about Kuching? Let's assume things will get better and get back to the old normal again.
Well, for 2021, we have decided, I think in some ways we have not done much yet. We are looking at how the situation pans out in the next few months. And if there is a chance, we will speak to our sponsors and see if we can actually do a scaled down version to try to actually re-energize and reactivate a little bit of What About Kuching. Maybe not a full month, maybe a week or 2 weeks, and try to do it in a scaled down version where things are easier to control. Performances a little bit difficult, but I think there are also avenues that we can do it.
Right.
But again, this is dependent on the vaccine coming in and things stabilizing, and there's no great spikes, and we do not put the communities at risk. 2022 October, we feel that that's probably very realistic for us to really energize and try to bring the month-long festival back. And we hope that we can actually impress upon our sponsors, all our sponsors and all our creatives to prepare for that. I mean, if we collectively prepare for it, then 2022 will be off with a big bang for WAK, and then hopefully that will then spur on to future years events happening.
Well, wonderful. I'm definitely looking forward to 2022.
Yeah, we will need people like you to come back, Tony.
I will. I mean, I will go home first chance I get. Trust me on this.
Yeah.
Anyway, Donald, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
It's a pleasure.
All right?
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you.
We're happy to share our 2 cents worth.
Thank you.
And to all the creatives and all the audience and all the enthusiasts out there, sit tight.
Yes.
There's always something planned for you all. Thank you very much.
Itu dia pengasas What About Kuching, Encik Donald Tan. Perbezaan budaya, bangsa dan adat yang terdapat di sekeliling kita patut dijadikan sebagai satu kekuatan untuk kita maju ke hadapan, membina dan memelihara industri seni Sarawak. Tidak dinafikan, usaha untuk memelihara warisan dan tradisi seni perlu dipergiatkan lagi. Dan dalam masa yang sama, bagi membolehkan identiti kita melangkau jauh, kita perlu belajar memahami dan menerokai cara dan platform baru untuk mempersembahkan seni kita agar ia dapat dilihat dan dinikmati oleh semua lapisan masyarakat. Kita tidak seharusnya membandingkan karya kita ataupun membandingkan penggiat seni di antara yang baru dan yang lama. Sebab pada dasarnya, kita semua inginkan yang terbaik. Sekiranya kita bersama-sama bergerak di bawah satu visi, kita mampu memelihara dan memperkayakan seni budaya warisan Bumi Kenyalang. Persoalannya di sini, adakah anda sendiri sanggup mengatasi cabaran dan memajukan seni budaya warisan kita? Fikir-fikirkanlah. Kita sudah pun sampai ke penghujung musim rancangan ini. Bagi pihak kru serta warga kerja TVS, saya ingin ucapkan terima kasih kerana menonton dan setia bersama kami setiap minggu melayari dunia industri kreatif. Banyak yang telah kita pelajari bersama-sama. Ribuan terima kasih kepada tetamu kami, Donald Tan, pengasas What About Kuching, kerana sudi meluangkan masa bersama kami dan berkongsi pengalaman beliau. Setinggi penghargaan kepada Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Center ataupun KLPAC kerana sudi menjadi penaja lokasi kami untuk penggambaran hari ini. Saya Tony Yusof, pengacara anda dalam dunia insan kreatif. Berharap kita dapat berjumpa lagi dalam masa yang akan datang.